Right behind you, dude.
What should I steal from Ursula?
I suppose, her Mars rosary. It looks valuable.
Oh boy. I don't know if you deserve this girl, dude.
And where does Ursula live?
Ursula lives in the first cottage across the green from the church.
If I'm going to take Ursula's Mars rosary, tell me, does she carry it with her?
She does, during the day.
What can I take from the Vamelers?
I can tell you exactly what. I work for them. Besides, I can even give you the key to their house, so you have it easier. Well, the younger brother is the local cobbler, and he's just made a fine pair of shoes for the Suckdoll blacksmith.
Thanks. What about the older brother?
I don't know. He had this really valuable St. Francis medal.
Had?
Aye, he lost it a while ago. It'd have to be found first.
So someone else stole it?
It's possible, but he might have just lost it. Although, young Moller claims a magpie stole it.
A magpie? Well, I've found all sorts of things in magpies' nests, that's true.
None of us believe him, but it's not in the house for sure. We searched it from top to bottom.
All right. I'll have a look around for nests.
I kind of forgot this is where magpies actually originated from, and they also kind of, I think they came from the Eastern European region. I think they hitched a ride on a boat either from France or, whenever they're exporting stuff, magpies got to eventually Britain, and then eventually, I guess on some wild voyage, probably transporting prisoners from Britain to Australia, eventually magpies became the national terrorist bird in Australia. But yeah, Australia, magpies are not originated from Australia. They originated from Europe, which, where all those, stories come from is because they hitched a ride and now they're kind of invasive. But, I don't think Australia can do anything about magpies. I don't think they do enough damage to the local ecosystem, but they're not local. They're invasive species.
Where's the Vamelers' cottage?
That one is their cottage.
And can you tell me where I'll find the shoes?
In the parlour, just behind the door.
And you wouldn't know where the magpie nests are, would you?
I don't know. Try the biggest trees. Young Moller even showed me what a magpie sounds like, but I can't make the sound.
I'm assuming you probably live in Japan or something like that.
What can I steal from old Bahushka?
Her silver ring.
Because this is a
She's
European
a bit of a crackpot.
history and all that, and even us Americans don't know too much. They don't teach us a lot of important history over here in America. So for us Americans to actually really get really good history lessons and just learn about history, most of us have to actually read on our free time about other people's histories and everything. Unless you go to college as a history major, you won't really get any good information, at least in elementary to high school and all that. They all talk about American history, but they don't teach the history that came before America, which is fucking stupid. But it would also be really nice if our school system actually taught us about other countries' history, because it all ties to America eventually at the end. Because it would have been really cool to learn about Britain's history, France's history, Spain's history. It would have been really nice to know about those history, the history of those countries, so that way we can actually get a good understanding of why our country exists in the first place. That would have been nice. So yeah, you can blame the school system in America for, us not knowing too much about other countries' history and being ignorant. Thanks, education system. But as a person that is a history buff and loves history, um, I'm not ignorant in those, understandings of other countries' histories. But there's so many other countries, and those histories are so rich and deep and long. It's going to take me a while to eventually get at least a basic understanding of it. I still need to eventually go into a learning hole for Africa's history and all the things that happen in Africa. That's not just Egypt, but actual like the heartland of Africa and tribes and everything like that, and what's gone on since then. Our stupidity. Oh yeah, yeah. Good old World War II. I think most people, like, here's the thing too, is like most people that might not know about Western culture and the history of Western civilization and all that too. If anything, most people know the history of World War II, but I don't think anyone was on the right side of that war except for anyone fighting against the Nazis. At least us as America fighting against United States, America fighting against the Japanese and all that. None of us were in the right to fight each other. That I do understand, because I studied a lot of the Japanese side and why they attacked America to begin with. And I kind of sympathize with Japan of why they attacked America to begin with, because we were fucking assholes. And it was it was kind of on the part of a trade war. It's like we were fucking over the Japanese, and we were strong arming them to the point to where they almost had no other option to attack America. But they did it in a really bad time. Yeah, I think the timing and the way Japan attacked America, that was a very bad time. Yeah, and that was also a very bad way to handle it. I don't condemn them. I don't condone them for what they did to Pearl Harbor, though. Yeah, Pearl Harbor was a fucked up thing Japan did. But however, what we did to Japan after that was extremely unnecessary. But you can also say Japan did some fucked up things to the Chinese. So yeah, Japan was doing some bad shit, but they also were kind of in the right to attack America, but they shouldn't have attacked America. And we had the right to retaliate, but we shouldn't have went that far in the retaliation. War sucks. All I have to say is war sucks. Everyone was in the wrong during that time. Even America and Britain. Well, Britain and France and all that, and all the other Eastern countries were in the right to defend themselves, at least, because all they were is defending themselves and stopping the Nazi regime. I mean, that's the only good part of World War II, is fighting the Nazis and ending the Holocaust. That I think was the only good taking point, is that those countries didn't get wiped out. France and England and all the other countries that were able to keep their countries still up afloat during World War II, and stopping the just the massacre. But the one mistake that we didn't do was, and I think if you ever read up on your history and all that too, it wasn't Eisenhower, it was Churchill. Churchill wanted to continue fighting to the point to where he wanted to stop Stalin, and because he knew Stalin was a major threat. And I kind of agree with Churchill. We should have kept fighting to the point where we were fighting Russia, because if you know anything about Stalin, he killed more of his own people than anyone combined. So we could have saved tens of millions of lives if we fought Stalin. But we didn't do that. And tens of millions of his own Russian people died because of him. So, yeah, not a very good choice. This is why history exists. So we can kind of learn from our stupid mistakes. If someone's massacring their own people, maybe we should stop that.
How will I recognise her cottage?
It's the one furthest from the green. She's got a stove in her yard and a long orchard out back.
That was a very ugly time, at least when it came to us in the war. It's like, 1945, man, not the prettiest time in America's history.
A crackpot?
Aye, she bakes pies all day, then forgets she did it and bakes more.
And when I've got all the loot, where at Pivet's am I to hide it?
You haven't got anything yet. Be glad if you don't get caught. Here's the key, and when you've got everything, come back to me.
Sure. Just you wait and see.
And most importantly, I don't want anyone to get hurt.
Don't worry. I'm not some cutthroat.
It was good to see you, my friend.
Well, there's probably some people that probably wanted, at least when it came to people running the war on the American side, if you guys didn't surrender, there was a possible chance we would have hit Tokyo and everything with a nuke. Because I think we had a few more in the chamber, at least when it came to nuclear bombs. I was like, yeah, that wouldn't have been good. Thank God your leaders, thank God the emperor himself decided to surrender. Because holy shit. Like, please, for God's sake, surrender. Because I think the people running our military regime, and at least, whoever was in office during the time, I'm not talking about the president either. I'm talking about like Minister of Defense. Well, the title's not Minister of Defense, but defense attorney. Well, damn, I can't figure out the word right now. But whoever was in that position would have probably kept going. Oh yeah, I know. You got firebombed and everything like that, but a nuke would have been like icing on that cake. So yeah, I think all major cities were pretty much firebombed. And you got that, bundles of stick that were lit on fire and dropped on towns, because most of the towns were made out of thatch and everything like that. And then Japan, after the war, decided, you know what? Instead of making our houses and other places out of like straw, thatch, rice paper, and everything like that, we should probably use cement. We should use brick, cement, and everything like that. Maybe start building certain other buildings, like factory buildings, out of metal. Just saying. So, if anything, that kicked a fire under Japan's butt when it came to industrialization and finally getting back to at least modern culture, the war definitely did that. Yeah, I think America thought that, you know what, we'll save money instead of using bombs on like the towns and cities and all that. We're just gonna drop burning wood, and it did the job. So it was like, damn, I thought I would never ever saw that too. Like I was reading up on that, and I was like, we only dropped burning wood on villages and everything to save money. It was more of an economic thing, a war economic thing, and it was probably strategically better because if you drop a bomb on like a wooden house and all that, it's not guaranteed to burn. So it's like, you know, strategically that makes a lot more sense. I don't say it's right. They shouldn't have been bombing civilian territory, but they did anyway. Oh yeah, you probably had droughts and all that, so fires spread a lot quicker. A good depiction on that, if anyone ever wanted to do it, I know it's not technically a history like movie, but it's a movie that really depicted the Japanese side of the war pretty well, and it's a very hard movie to watch. Grave of the Fireflies. For anyone that doesn't know their history but wants to know a little taste of what the Japanese were going through, Grave of the Fireflies is probably one of my favorite movies, but so hard to watch. Of the Japanese side of, at least when it came to like orphan kids and everything and what they had to deal with. It's a very good depiction, and is also one of the only Ghibli movies that, you know, Miyazaki did not want to work on because it hit a little too close to home. So yeah, I would recommend. I mean, even if you're not an anime fan or an animated fan in general, it's a really important story to eventually consume and learn. So, but yeah, if you wanted to know what at least us Americans did to at least those like villages and towns and how we didn't even have to set foot on in those areas, yeah, that's a very good depiction of what we did. So yeah, but even though I'm a very big like World War II history buff and everything too, I highly disagreed with what we did in the Pacific Front. What we did in the Eastern Front have no qualms with what we did in the Eastern Front. What we did in the Pacific Front, though, yeah, it's debatable. Yeah, war's war and everything like that, I understand. But it was not a very good way we handled it. But there is no good way to handle war, in my opinion. All right. We are going to wait until nighttime. We're going to steal from all these houses, apparently, just to make this guy see if we can even... I wonder how this story is going to turn out, because it's like... Dude, the fact I'm going to have to steal from multiple houses is making me a little nervous. All right, we'll start with E. E. Wait, how do you get in here? Wait, what the fuck? Where's the entrance to this place? Okay, here it is. All right, so what do I have to steal in E's territory? Still the ring. Oh, the door's already open. Oh, I think they're...
The ring.
Wait. Someone's still awake. I don't know if she's sleeping. Is she talking in her sleep, or is she actually still awake around midnight? What is going on?
Francis? Do you want
Okay.
some poppy seed pie?
She's talking in her sleep.
The ring. Oh, no.
I don't see a ring here. There's no ring on her.
Oh, the poppy seeds.
Gotta find that ring. I think she's saying where the ring is in her sleep.
The ring. Oh, no. The dough. Poppy seed pie. Curd pie. Where? The ring.
I don't know where the ring is. Moonshine. I'll take that.
Poppy seeds.
She's a baker, so I'm kind of wondering if she took her ring off before she did all her baking. And there's a lot of poppy seed kind of pies. That's not considered stealing. Where the fuck is your ring, girl? I'll check in here one more time. Somebody just overlooked it.
Francis?
I don't see a ring.
Some poppy seed pie?
Is it a ring that I'm looking for? Yeah. Where's Jessica's ring?
Oh, the poppy seeds.
I'll just take everything. Where the fuck? Why is it finding this ring? Almost nearly impossible. Because there's not a ring in here. And the ring is such a small item that I can't quite tell visually where it would be. I might just move on to another house and try and find the ring later. Because I have no clue where this ring is.
Poppy seeds.
Where the fuck? I don't know. Where the fuck is this ring? It would be in the house, so it's not outside the house. Eh. All right. This door is not even locked, which makes me nervous. It's one. Let's go to D.